Hey, my name is TJ Cosgrove. This is the Blackwing Volumes behind the scenes video. If you haven't seen the original, go and watch it. Link is in the description. Otherwise, let's get this show on the road.
Del carnaval, 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 del carnaval.
So about a month ago, Alex over at Blackwing and I got to talking, and he said that they have this cool secret project that they may need a video for, and was I interested in talking to him about it? I of course said no, and that was the end of, no, I'm only kidding. I said yes, absolutely, I want to know everything about it. And he said, okay, sign an NDA, which is a non-disclosure agreement, which is why I haven't been able to talk about it until now. Now that I'm freed from the shackles of secrecy, I can tell you all about the behind the scenes, all about the cool stuff I did to make this video come to life, and all about the kind of the fun props and numbers and hidden stuff that I put in that you maybe didn't see the first time around. Before we go anywhere though, I'd like to say massive thank you to everyone over there at Cal Cedar and Blackwing. What an amazing project. Thank you so much for making me part of it. And I had an absolute blast. And new pencils, guys, new pencils. There's nothing to be sad about. There's nothing to be bad about there. That is amazing. Anyone who's bringing new analog tools into this world is someone good in my books. So without further ado, let's get on to the real meat of the matter, the behind the scenes footage. So storyboards are not something that I do every time, but they are really helpful, especially if you're trying to do quite a visual thing like this video was. I sketched these all out with a Blackwing 602, of course, and filled in some color with my Koh-i-Noor 3423, and it's super simple stuff just to kind of give the guys over at Blackwing an idea of where I'm heading and what I'm doing with the inspiration they're giving me, and kind of give you an idea of the types of images I want to show and the framing, and I have a little box there that shows macro, just to kind of give a flavor of what's going to happen in the images so that they're not turning up and getting a video blind and being like, hey, that's not at all what we asked for. So storyboards really help to convey the general idea, but they always change and they're never really set in stone. So what I show in the storyboards doesn't directly correlate to what happens in the videos. And there's some shots in the storyboards that aren't in the videos and vice versa. So it kind of flows quite naturally while you're building it. And so it's a good thing to have in the beginning, but you certainly don't need to rigidly stick to it. So this opening shot is by far the most complicated and the one I spent the most time on. And it's actually, I probably think, my favorite shot of the whole film. Because I spent a lot of time knolling this. Knolling is organizing things sort of like perpendicular to each other. And I spent a lot of time trying to organize this little snapshot of items so that we could get this wonderful panning shot across the top of them. And the props I managed to assemble just from things I had around the house. So it was quite fortuitous that the things that I surround myself with actually proved to be just the things we needed to create the vibe. So I'm going to run through just the things in this shot because it's probably the busiest shot of the whole thing. So I'm just going to take a little bit of time and show you all the different things in it. So starting in the bottom right, we have £1,000 worth of fake money that I printed at the university library. And no one had a problem with that, apparently. I sat for about 40 minutes printing, scanning, printing, photoshopping, cutting, and putting together these fake banknotes. They're blank on the other side. And that was okay. Everyone thought that was fine, unless I'm on some sort of watch list somewhere, who's to know. But made that, and this is the first time you've used it in a video, and I'm really pleased that it got to make an introduction. The £10 note's actually quite nice. You got the wonderful Queen in the bottom right-hand corner there, so she made a little cameo appearance. Above that we have what I presume is a semi-decent poker hand. I don't play poker, and so I looked this up, and I thought, you know what? Let's give clubs some respect. Everybody picks spades, ace of spades, nine of spades, whatever you want. I thought, let's give clubs some loving on this. So I picked out this poker hand that I presume is somewhat good. Let me know if it's not, because I'm not a poker player. To the right of that, we have a second place rosette my girlfriend won for horse riding that I pinched from our living room and stuck in this video. Beside that, we have a €1 coin that I found in my attic. It happened to be from our trip to Rome a couple of years back. Beside that is a vintage 8-ball from my collection of vintage pool balls. And I know that's a weird thing to collect, but I have about 9 or 10 of them. It's not really that big a collection, but I still have vintage pool balls. And the 8-ball, obviously being such a cool looking thing, had to be in this shot. Above that, we have our Bermudan $1 note. Now, I've never been to Bermuda. These are my mother's. She gave me them because she used to be an air hostess with British Airways. And she collected lots of different banknotes. So I got this one. It was the only paper money I had that had dollars on it. I know it's not technically American, so sorry for inaccuracies there. But I figured dollars is better than pounds, so I better put them in as well, just in case I offend anyone. Below that, we have some Scrabble tiles from 2 completely different Scrabble sets. The top one is M3 and the bottom one is T1, which happen to be my girlfriend and I's initials. And they're magnets. I made them into magnets by just hot gluing some magnets into the back of them. They normally live on our oven, but I thought, you know what? These can make an appearance. They got numbers on them. They got letters on them. They're somewhat Scrabble-y, kind of fun-looking things, so let's put them in. Beside that is one of my favorite items in this whole video. That is a vintage Commodore LCD calculator. This thing is ancient. My grandfather bought it way back probably in the 60s. My mother used it in school. This thing is so old. It takes a 9-volt battery, I'm pretty sure. It's so old that it has a wall plug. You can plug this thing in and use mains power for some reason, as if you're like, hold on, just need to plug in my calculator. So it's gorgeous. The colors on it are beautiful. The screen is a little bit broken, but it still does work. The screen's a little bit iffy though. But just the colors of the buttons and the font of the buttons, it had to be in here. It's so cool. Beside that, we have a vintage Penguin book of 7 plays. I actually bought this as a gift for a friend, but she's currently in America, so I can't give it to her. So I thought I'd use it as a prop. But Penguin books are very, very popular here. And they've been doing books for a long, long time. So I thought that looks amazing. Really, really, I love the stories that the torn and tattered books can tell. So I just thought, nice thing to put in there. And little penguin. Hey, little penguin. So below that we have, of course, the star of the show, the big hitter, the Blackwing 602. That is actually the pencil I drew all the storyboards with. It's the pencil I'm holding right now in my hand as I record this voiceover. It just had to go in there. I mean, it's Blackwing video. It's got a Blackwing pencil in it. That's just how it rolls. Below that is a horrendously long ruler that I have. I don't know why I purchased it, but I have it. I've never used it. And I thought, you know what? This would be a nice centerpiece for this shot. It is about 1 meter long, but I flipped it over to the inches side for you imperial fellows so that you would have a measurement you understood to give you a sense of scale. And this thing was hanging off the end of the table. It's freaking huge. Just to the bottom left of frame, we have a bag of risotto rice that I'm going to probably eat in the next coming weeks. It was some vintage, nice cotton looking bag with some nice fonts on it and some numbers in grams. So I thought, let's stick that in there. To the right of that, we have a beautiful color snap Kodak camera. I have a small collection of analog cameras and they are absolutely gorgeous. Hands down, some of the nicest things ever made by humans, apart from some of your American cars. But these cameras are metal. They're well built. They're handcrafted. They just look like something that worked. And I'm sure most of these still do work. I don't use them. I don't do analog photography. Something I'd like to get into, but just having them around the house. I have some with bellows. I have some that were my grandparents. I have some Super 8 cameras, film cameras, video ones. And just having them around is amazing. I love looking at them. I love using them. They're just so nice. And that pretty much wraps up everything in this shot. It's a super busy shot, but I wanted to have something right at the get-go to get people going, wow, look at all this stuff. And the kind of move that I did was almost like a Dutch tilt face down. It's kind of a weird one. But I just wanted to give a sense of movement in the shot without it being a dolly shot or something, because I wanted to retain the top-down view. So, a bit of a weird movement, but I think it looks quite nice. And we get this kind of panning shot and revealing all these different props for our intro shot. First thing everybody sees. So let's go quick fire. This is the cover of the Penguin book we talked about earlier. This is the back of a pack of playing cards with a label that I printed with a price gun that I own. This is a Polaroid land camera from my collection of cameras. It's a beautiful looking thing, but I really wanted to catch the colors of this with a nice focus pull. And did you catch this? That is pi to 5 digits, 3.14159. This is a birthday candle. Absolutely no significance. I bought it just for the shoot. Here's the Commodore calculator again. Looking nice. This is me drawing on a piece of scrap wood with a 602, pretending I know carpentry. There's my wonderful poker hand, a straight flush coming up again. This is my Line 6 Spider 3 guitar amp that sadly does not go all the way to 11. This date stamp is what I use in my journals every day, and the 6th of May actually is the deadline that I had for this project to deliver it, so I thought that was quite fun to put it in there. The square root of -1 happens to be an imaginary number, which is why that makes sense, because it equals I. I'm not a scientist, but I'm told that that is maths. This old vinyl was really ugly, but it happened to have a number on the front, so I bought it. I have since donated it to charity because I do not want it in my home. I absolutely love this shot. I bought quarters from an antique store, 25p for 25 cents, making that the worst exchange rate I have ever had. This is my whiteboard. I'm writing out Maxwell's equation. I'm not a scientist. I don't even pretend to be one on the internet, but it's something to do with electromagnetic waves and c equaling the speed of light. This is an old book about productivity from the 1920s. The quote that you can't see because it's cropped in too much is 1 Englishman is a fool, 2 are a match, 3 are a great nation. This shot was actually a lot of fun and probably is the most work in a single shot after the intro one that does not look like it at all. So there's actually an After Effects transition in there, a special effects shot. So the index card that we see pass over to reveal Robinson's 42 is real. I did pass an index card over the top of that book, but I rotoscoped out the background because it originally revealed nothing. It just passed over and the book was still there. So I went in and frame by frame rotoscoped it away so that I could bring in an illustration of the number 42 behind, because the UK doesn't really have baseball. So I couldn't get a baseball jersey or anything baseball related. So I had to use the 42 that I drew and then just use a bit of After Effects sneakery to fit it in there. Okay, here we go, kicking it up a notch. I'm just going to rhyme these off. License plate, vintage Ilford photography plates, cooker hood, vintage galvanometer, measuring jug, old camera, old watch, Indian license plate, typewriter, margin ruler, lamppost, ration book, clock, New York taxi, my Benro tripod, 20-mile-an-hour speed limit sign, big calendar beside a clothes rack, the house number from our home that I made with my terrible woodworking skills, vintage print on my living room wall, the £1,000 of fake money I'm probably going to get arrested for making, another lamppost, post box, this is a page from my pocket ref book, that's a telephone pole, stopwatch, metal grating, New York taxi again, and my production company personal branded batteries that I use for my LED lights. So there we have it, Volumes by Blackwing, a behind the scenes look at everything that went into making this video. I had so much fun. If you love pencils, sign up for this. You get 12 limited edition pencils 4 times a year, including a sealed archival pencil for your collection. They arrive on your doorstep every single quarter. $99, $12 flat rate shipping. This is such a good deal. I cannot wait to see what they come up with. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. I cannot wait to show you all the cool stuff I've got lined up for the rest of this year. It's going to be amazing. Let's hit that like button and then leave a comment below and let me know what you thought. Standing too close. Standing too far away. Goldilocks. Hey, how's it going? Hey, how's it going? My name is TJ Cosgrove. This is the Blackwing Volumes behind the scenes video starring me, TJ Cosgrove. Hey, how's it going? My name is TJ Cosgrove and this is the Blackwing Volumes behind the scenes video. If you haven't seen the actual... Go watch it now. Don't watch this first. Go watch the original, link it is in the description. And then come back, I'll wait. I'll wait. Hey, my name's TJ Cosgrove. I can't even say my own name. Hey, my name's TJ Cosgrove. This is the